Howdy folks, welcome back to another Members First deck profile. This week I'm going to be bringing you guys DM Alter S. I can't say the word bringing like very well. I need to like properly enunciate it, otherwise I just stumble over it every time if I talk too fast. This week I'm going to be bringing you guys DM Alter S. DM Alter S is a really fun deck. I think it's our most requested one this week if I remember correctly looking at the comments. So hopefully this is a good insight for what it is and what it wants to do, gives you guys some ideas on how to play it and how it sort of functions, wants to run. It's a little gacha gambly, but it's not too crazy, nothing too nutty. You have a lot of really cool, powerful effects that you can utilize within this deck, utilizing the brand new Blitzgray Ace and Kresgaru Ace, along with the Omnimon Alter S, our main boss monster, who is just he's a cool card. He's so good. Yeah, before I jump into it, just want to say a quick thank you to our members for supporting us on the channel. Hope you guys are enjoying this content for yourselves, getting early access to it and everything. If you have anything else you want to see, let us know. For people that see this when it goes public, thank you for checking us out. Thank you for stopping by. If you enjoy this content, consider subscribing, sticking around. Maybe hit the video with a like if you really liked it. It would be appreciated. Or even if you just moderately liked it or kind of liked it. We appreciate it. It shows the YouTube algorithm we're doing the right thing. So thank you so much. Yeah, so without further ado, let's jump into the profile. So kicking things off, 4 copies of Sunomon Egg. He's our version 2 trait egg, Digitama. Your turn once per turn when cards are face down. When face down cards are placed in his sources, you can digivolve into a V2 trait card in the hand with the cost reduced by 1. Really good for helping us go into our 4s early when we training something into him, or if we use analog youth to place a card under him, start of main. Is pretty much the best ways to kind of go into our 4s for 1. And then you can potentially use something like Meat to go into like Mamemon, and then when a card gets tucked, you can go into Metal Mame off his effect, etc. You know, it's only once per turn, so you have to kind of pick and choose it, but keep in mind you can only go into version 2 trait cards with it, so it's only really going to affect your 4s, majority of your 4s at least. Metal Mame and Kresgar Ace. You can technically use it for Alter S, but digivolving into him off of that effect is, you're not going to get all the, you're not going to get all the things you want out of it. You're not going to really do anything. So, I mean, you'll delete everything, I guess, but you won't you won't get your protection, so just keep that in mind. But it's a good thing to know. Moving on from the eggs, we run a total of 11 rookies. We have here 2 copies of the version 1 Searcheragu. The plus 2 KDP inherit's just not as impactful as jamming typically for early aggression, so that's why he's our 2 of. And so you just, you reveal top 3. Among them, add a card with DM trait to hand. Place 1 version 1 trait card as the bottom Digivolution card of any of your Digimon with the DM trait. Turn the rest of the bottom of the deck. Just a solid searcher. Being able to kind of place that card under anything can be really important for setting up effects for like Mamemon. If you need to kind of hit that sort of 3 face down threshold under him, or Metal Mame as well. Or set up a card to, have those, or set himself up to have those face down sources for those cards. Moving on from that, run 4 copies of the Searcheragu. Same thing, but it's just a version 2 trait card and then jamming inherit. And then we have our training rookies, which both are training, and then having the inherits of jamming, and then inherit of your turn, all of your opponent's security Digimon get minus 3,000 DP. So just helping us survive security checks, because sometimes you're going to be wanting chipping early, especially if you get analog youth on board early with it, because it just allows you to kind of more aggressively play the game, because you'll have reboot access from him as well, as long as you have a face down card. So really nice to have. That's it for rookies. Jumping into our level 4s. We have 3 copies of the Angemon. All the level 4s have training. And Angemon and Kabuteria are both version 2 trait cards, while Monochromon's a version 4 trait card. Angemon has on play on Evo. You can place 1 card in your hand face down as bottom source to give one of your opponent's Digimon sec -1 and minus 3 KDP till the turn ends. Really good. And then on deletion, inherit, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, you can recover 1. So it just gives you a little bit of extra sort of staying power late game if you Evo over him and have that inherit live. And being able to give sec -1 and minus 3 KDP can just be really good for clearing out smaller bodies or just stopping a bigger body from doing as much or any damage to you. Kabuteria is our 4 of. It's just really good for on play on Evo. Place a card in hand face down as bottom source. Suspend an opponent's Digimon. It doesn't unsuspend during next unsuspend phase. So just really good for locking a body down. If your opponent has a means of unsuspending the body otherwise, then it is what it is. But it's good to have it as much as you can. And then the inherit of 1 attacking once per turn to suspend an opponent's Digimon just helps you get around blockers more than anything else. But can come up for other like little niche situations and effects, maybe where you need to tap something down to swing over it with an Alter S swing later on in the combo or some other means. So that's cool there. And then rounding out our level 4s, we're on 2 copies of the Monochromon. I have talked so much about this Monochromon, and I love him so much. The art is just fire, first of all. But on play, on attack, you place 1 card in your hand face down as bottom source to DDG 1. one of your opponent's Digimon, and then you inherit a blocker. So just gives you that blocker inherit that you don't always have in this deck. In addition to being able to give you access to Digivolve, is just really, really powerful. It's a really good card. And yeah, I like using him. He's very fun. That's going to be it for the 4s. Jumping into the 5s here, we run 3 copies of Metal Mamemon. He is our version 2 trait level 5, so you can evo into him off of Sunomon's effect, depending on how you set up the stack and do the combo. You can do the whole cost reduction play for him, of course, to play him for 5 by pitching a Cyborg or version 2 trait card from your hand. But on play on Evo, you place a Digimon card from your trash face down as bottom source. Then from one of your opponent's Digimon, you trash any one Digivolution card for each of your face down Digivolution cards. And then you return one of the Digimon with no Digivolution cards to the bottom of the deck. So this helps you sort of source strip things, maybe get rid of some pesky protection inherits off of like Kaguya puppets, for example. And then bottom decking is very, very, very powerful. And keep in mind, the thing that you source strip from does not need to be the Digimon that you're bottom decking. So you can maybe pick out a few pesky inherits from one Digimon that you don't want to be there. And then you can go ahead and then you can go ahead and bottom deck something else, like maybe like a floodgate or something like that, right? So just good to keep in mind. And then inherit is the end of your turn, once per turn, one of your Digimon on suspense. So it just gives you sort of like pseudo reboot in a way, if you don't have Analog Youth on board. And then rounding out level 5s is our main bread and butter for our combo initiation here, and this is going to be Mamemon. So he's kind of the kicker for all this. He has collision, which is nice. On play on Evo, you reveal top 3 cards of your deck. You play one play cost 4 or lower DM trait card from your hand, from among them, without paying the costs. And then for each of your face down Digivolution cards, you add 1 to this effect's play cost maximum, and then you return the rest to the bottom of the deck. So he's not going to help you search anything, but he is your main means of getting Blitzcrank Ace and Crescaruru Ace out for for free, possibly plussing if you have Analog Man on the board. So you're typically you're gonna just sort of find some way to kind of climb into him and then do his effect. You'll want to make sure you have 3 face down cards in his sources when you do it, because that's how you are able to play out Blitzcrank and Crescar Ace, because they're 7 cost, of course. And just being able to split them out is really good. It's really, really good. Being able to just get their on plays to either bottom deck level 5 or Digivolve 3 something is really, really nice. And then you can just evo into the opposing one over Mamemon to be able to use Blitzcrank Ace's end of turn effect to then DNA into an Omni Ultra S and an attack if you want to, or just set up the board with a bit of a trap there where Crescar Ace is going to kind of keep you, fairly safe, unless your opponent has like Raid or something like that, then you won't want to do this. But if it's like a deck that is going to delete you by some means of effects, or try and remove you by some means of effects, Crescar Ace is just sort of really a powerful bomb when he's on the board alongside Blitzcrank. So really cool card there. And then Inherit is just when attacking, once per turn, D-Digi one of your opponent's Digimon. That's good. That's just really, really good. Being able to D-Digi-Evolve stuff on swing just helps control ace threats, helps control blockers. It's just a really, really nice effect to have, and just kind of can set your opponent back in really rough ways. So that's it for 5s. Jumping into 4s here, we run 4 copies of Blitzcrank Ace. Something to keep in mind, both Blitzcrank Ace and Crescar Ace both have Alliance and Blocker. Really, really good keywords. They both obviously are ace cards, so they have counter timing, and they both go over their respective Greymon or Garurumon name, and then or DM trait for a cost of 3. So just something to keep in mind for utilizing them possibly in other decks. So Blitzcrank Ace has on play on Evo, Digivolve 3, one of your opponent's Digimon, and then end of your turn, 2 of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve into an Omnimon Ultra S in the hand, and then one of your Digimon may attack. So something to keep in mind is that you don't have to pair him with Crescar for the DNA stuff. I don't know exactly what you would pair him with otherwise. Maybe the Melga from BT17 or the brand new Melga we're getting in BT22. If you wanted to utilize him in some sort of weird way there, whatever inconsistencies might exist. But the point is that you can use, you just need to have, you can target 2 Digimon to DNA into Ultra S. So even if you have like one Blitzcrank Ace on the board and then you have another one, and then a Crest, you can have one's effect to focus like that one, to force that one to DNA and then do things. If you wanted to structure it that way, I don't think you really would benefit necessarily out of anything doing it that way, but just something to keep in mind. So you can do that, and then one of your Digimon may attack. Now keep in mind, then one of your Digimon may attack. That is a separate block of the effect there. So technically, even if you don't DNA into anything at the end of your turn, you can still have something else attack, which can be really, really good. If, say, for example, we have like Mamemon on board, or Metal Mame, or even level 4 on board, and your opponent has like a suspended stack out that you can't swing over, they're too big, You can sometimes drop Blitzcrank Ace, de-digivolve them down, and then have your like level 4 stack or level 5 stack swing over it and clear it. So just like another little neat combo you can do to help control board. It's cool. It's fun. And then Crestguard Ace has the on play on Evo. Return one of your opponent's level 5 or lower to the bottom deck. Really good removal. Bottom decking is very powerful. And then all turns, when any of your level 6 Digimon would leave the battle area other than in battle, so keep in mind if you block something and die, it's not going to proc. 2 of your Digimon may digivolve into an Omnimon Alter S in the hand. And so something to keep in mind too, both of these effects specifically have to be for Omnimon Alter S. You cannot utilize them with something like these, the BT22 Omni that's coming up, the Omni Ace. You can't utilize that end of turn effect for either of them to go into an Omnimon other than an Alter S. Yeah, just really good, just sort of like pseudo miraculous night effect that you have access to in the deck because of this card. It's really, really good for just helping you kind of just stay sticky on the board. And then both of them have inherits as well, where Blitzcrank gives you Sec +1, and Crestguard makes it so you can't, your attack target can't change. So you can't be blocked, can't be redirected, etc. Which is really, really, is nice. It's good. Keep in mind too, if you do end up building your own version of this deck, it also means you can't raid either, because it's this Digimon's attack target can't change during your turn. It's just entirely, that's how that works. So if you somehow have raid on your stack or something like that, you cannot raid over something with this. Or utilize collision either, for example. So just something to keep in mind. If somehow, I don't know how you'd ever get a Crestguard Ace inherit under a Mamemon, but just something to keep in mind there. That's it for 6s. I'll run 4 of them, by the way, just because I want to make sure I can consistently see them. There's definitely an argument to be made where once you see the right pair, you don't need to see more than that typically. So you could definitely do something where you run just like 3-3 and maybe, you know, split the ratios elsewhere. But just that's what I'm doing. I just want consistency as best I can. And they're also just not bad, just hard drops sometimes. I mean, 7 cost is not much, and early on, sometimes your opponent just can't answer that, and then next turn you can just drop the other one and just be set up to Alter S that turn already. Moving on to our big boss monster, our big level 7 guy, our main dude. I don't know what I was gonna say. I had an idea, but it just disappeared. Omnimon Alter S. He can DNA from a blue level 6 and a red level 6, so just keep that in mind for other decks. Evos for 5 over a red or blue level 6, or a DM trait for a cost of 5 as well. 1 Digivolving. If DNA Digivolving, your opponent's effects don't affect this Digimon for the turn. So keep in mind opponent's effects entirely. So that means options, tamers, you know, anything. You are completely immune to anything your opponent would do to you. And then you delete all the Digimon with the highest level. Keep in mind the then delete all the Digimon with the highest level is not required by the DNA, unless I've been misinformed. But yeah, effectively you do the DNA, you get the protection, and then you pop all the Digimon with the highest level regardless. So sometimes when you are stuck, if you need a hard Evo into him, it can be impactful, just in case you just need to clear a big body off of the board. But so just something to keep in mind with how that works. And then end of attack, you may play one card with Greymon in its name or the V1 trait, and then 1 card with Garurumon in its name or the version 2 trait from your sources without paying the costs. If this effect played, you place this card, or place the Digimon as your top security card. Sorry. So being able to put a 15k body at top of security can be actually really, really impactful for maybe slowing down your opponent or messing them up on certain attacks that we want to do. And the fact that you can play out a Greymon or Garurumon in name or V1 or version 2 trait card just makes this card very, very, there's a lot of utility to it. There's a lot of things it can do. Obviously, you'll probably won't want to spit out anything other than Blitzcrank or Crestguard, because if you do this, that means they'll be going to the trash if you don't spit them out, which means you're going to overflow 8. But just something to keep in mind. The option is there. Perhaps it'll come up. I don't know if it would, but just, you know, something you may have to do in certain situations for some weird reason. But really, really cool. And pretty much once you kind of get the combo on board and are good to go, for every Omni Ultra S you have, that's effectively just 2 checks that you're good to, like, just, you could potentially OTK very, very quickly. Even if you've just only done like 1 or 2 chip, like you can do a lot of damage very, very fast. So great card, phenomenal boss monster, and you can kind of read why he's so generically good just for Omnimon decks in general. So that's it for Digimon. Jumping into our Tamers here, when 2 copies of Analog Man, Memory Setter. When any of your play cost 7 or higher Cyber Machine or DM trait Digimon are played, by suspending this Tamer, you can go ahead and draw 1 and gain a memory, and then place a card face down from your hand as any of their bottom Digimons, or any of those Digimon's bottom Digillusion cards. Just solid Tamer. It works really, really well in conjunction with things like Mamemon, where when Mamemon would spit out a Blitzcrank or a Crestguard Ace, or even a Metal Mame or another Mame. you can go ahead and use Analog Man's effect to then gain a memory and draw a card because you're playing out a 7 cost or higher card. Even if you're not paying the 7 cost, their actual cost that is listed on the card is what it looks for. That's all it needs. So just something to keep in mind. I've been running our tamers. We have the 4 copies of Analog Youth. Just a really, really solid tamer. I'm glad I got my copies when I did before it went from $2 to $12 now, assuming it's still sitting around there. I haven't looked in the past couple of days, but I know it was crazy. Start of your main phase, you place 1 card from your hand face down as any of your DM trait Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards. It's a very good thing that it is archetype locked, because if it was not, this tamer would be a little bit cracked. And then your turn, when face down cards are placed in any of your Digimon's Digivolution cards, by suspending this tamer, you gain a memory. And then if you have 7 of your cards in hand, you draw 1. Typically with DM decks, you're kind of shedding a lot of cards from your hand very, very quickly. So having the 7 or fewer stipulation of this effect, it rarely, really will ever stop you from drawing cards. So just something to keep in mind is you do need to keep count of your hand size, but because of how fast you trim cards, like I said, you're typically going to be sitting anywhere from like 4 to 6 cards in hand. Usually is where I end up. And then during your opponent's turn, all of your Digimon with face down Digivolution cards gain reboot, which is just really, really good. We don't need to bother with like reboot, inherits, and machine necessarily, for example, with this guy, if you're running him in there. For this list in particular, it's just really, really nice. So it lets you kind of force that aggression with jamming and the security tech the security Digimon's DP getting minus 3k. So you can do all that damage and still have your stacks reboot, so they're not like susceptible to just being swung over willy-nilly because you decided to play aggressive. So really, really nice there. Moving on from tamers to options, 4 copies of Meat. This is basically just DM's version of a training option. So main, draw 1, place card battle area. Main, delay, place 1 card from your hand face down as any of your DM trait Digimon's bottom sources. And then go ahead and Digivolve into a DM trait Digimon card in the hand with the cost reduced by 2. So keep in mind it is very much restricted to just working for DM trait cards. So just something to keep that in mind. And then out of security, you draw 1 and place it in battle area. So it's actually a little bit better than training in the sense that you still kind of get its main effect like fully when you play it, or when it comes out of security, the same effect you would get if you were to hard drop it. So really, very nice there. And then we're running 1 copy of File Island. This is probably the card I would bump up if I was going to cut the Blitzcrank and Crestcar aces down to 3-3. I'd probably put in like 2 more of this card, maybe 1 more, and then like another Analog Man, something like that. So while you have no face-up security cards, you can ignore this card's color requirements. Main effect is to add your bottom security card to the hand and then place this card as the bottom security card. And then from security, all turns, all of your DM trait Digimon get +1 KDP for each of their face-down Digivolution cards. So you can very quickly have anywhere from a 2k boost to a 5k boost. Because that's typically how many face-down cards I will get there, is anywhere from 2 to 5. That's big. That's a big jump for numbers, right? I mean, being able to make like a big Omnimon Alter S off of that can be really, really important. Being able to just buff up your level 4s and level 5s can be good for helping control your opponent's board, especially when things like Mamimon have collision. So just a really like solid piece in that aspect. And then from security, has the effect if it gets checked, you can play 1 play cost 5 reloaded card with the DM trait from your hand and trash without paying the cost. So keep in mind this will let us play out any of our level 4s, either of our tamers, because it's just a DM trait card. That's all it's looking for, and both Analog Youth and Analog Man are DM trait. The really good thing about this card being at the bottom of security means that DP boost is going to linger there pretty much the entirety of the game until you're about to lose. And even then, when they check it out of security, assuming they don't trash it, you can play out something like Angemon or Kabuterimon to then go ahead and either suspend the body and lock it down so it can't unsuspend unless they have some other means of unsuspending it through another effect. Or you can just use Angemon to go ahead and give Sec -1 and -3 KDP to either pop the body or give Sec -1 to the body that would potentially be knocking, maybe swinging for game this turn if they had another swing going through or another swing ready to go through. So you have some really, really cool sort of like safety features, I guess, in that sense, in that regard. But yeah, that is the deck list. The deck is by no means like a tier 1 deck. It's really, really fun. When you get the high roll and pop off, you can do a lot of things very quickly and you can very easily overwhelm your opponent in that sense. All the jamming and DP boost early on inherits really help promote aggression and board control, respectively for those different things, which is nice, being able to kind of have access to all of that. And overall, the deck is just fun. It's really, really fun when you see Mamimon hit the Blitzcrank or the Crestcar Ace and you evo in the opposite one, and then you just all of a sudden you have you can swing Alliance and do something funny. You can have Omni Alter S on board, start going crazy. Like there's a lot of really, really, really cool things that you can do. And that's the other thing too. The Blitzcrank and Crestcar having Alliance just means you can get so much aggression at like 24k with them typically, or however else you want to split it. Which is just really, really good. It's really, really strong. It's a lot of aggression, a lot of damage, and high DP numbers really help you stay safe for those swings. But yeah, overall, let me know what you think of the list. If you guys have any opinions or takes on it, let me know in the comment section down below. Tell me what you think. If you have any ideas for how to improve the deck, what you would do, run them by me. I'm curious to see what you guys would do. And if you guys do end up playing this list or another version of this list or a variant of the sort of DM Alter S archetype, let me know how it goes. Let me know how your matches have been, what you think are hard matchups, what are good matchups. You know, I love to just kind of collect all that knowledge and data and utilize it for myself. And it's a kind of community thing, right? We all kind of help each other out. So, yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.